say it. Tom from Gulfport, Pedro from Portugal. We got Laguna Beach, PB3. We got Tootie in the house. We got John Henry. We got Lisa from Texas, Lorena from Washington State, Mel from New York City. So welcome, welcome, welcome. South Africa, Austin, Denmark, Fort Worth, Elizabeth, Colorado, Nevada. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So listen, this week's an important week, and I brought a very special guest that's going to be coming on board here in a second, because this week is all about scaling past the stage. This is all about attracting more customers, more distributors, and growing a bigger community. That's what the last 2 weeks have been all about. How do we help make sure that you attract more customers into your network marketing business, more distributors, and build your community? And so the gentleman that I'm going to be bringing up here, who is going to be a big part of our Q&A today, is the one who does that for our company day in and day out. That's his job, is to make sure that we get more customers into our business, and also is a big part of helping build our community as well. And so I'm excited. Daniel, you there with us today? And we're going to have to unmute him, team.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah. So we got Daniel in the house. I think you can go back and forth from unmuting. I don't know. But D, I'm excited because today they've met the great Pat Quinn. They know Pete Vargas, and today they get to have a lot more interaction with you, because you're a huge part of our strategy in our implementation and scaling past the stage. So speak to that for a little bit. I'm going to take a few questions today, but I wanted the most qualified specialist here today, so I'm glad that you're joining us. Once again, muted. We're going to have to make a co-host.
Sorry about that. Apologize. Yeah, I know. I'm really excited. It's awesome, you know, as I work with my team, and as we do our recruitment, our strategies for strategy sessions, really can help answer questions around that, on the methodologies that you guys are implementing in recruitment, and also for the product side. So looking forward to really answering questions there as well.
Yeah, that's great. So everybody, I'm going to take a few questions today, but today we want to do some coaching. We want to do some answering of questions. And so as we do that, and Danny, I want to make sure you can go back in and out from, yeah, you can. Okay, cool. So you can unmute and mute yourself now. So I'm going to take probably the top 5 or 10 questions, and then I'm going to bring Daniel in, because he is really the specialist. And it's just like, it would be like Pat Quinn, me answering questions that Pat Quinn can answer. And so I'm stoked about today. And so welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to take questions until the top of the hour, or the end of the hour, or until we've answered all of them. So if I'm completely brand new in social media and only have 30 followers, it's still possible for me to get other people's stages. If yes, how can I win their stages knowing that I haven't had any accomplishment? Nelvin, that's a great question. You do not have to have social media followers to win other people's stages. I didn't have any social media following at all until this year, 5 years into business. This is our 5th year in the business, but yet I'd been on a lot of OPSs, because OPSs, which you'll learn how to win in the next 2 weeks, are all about solving a problem for them. And you've got to solve a problem. If you can solve a problem, they don't care how popular you are. They like to find the best kept secrets, or the diamond in the rough that nobody else knows. And the other thing is, they got to feel like they're winning. If you're helping them win for them and for their community, man, it is a huge thing. So do not buy into the misconception that you have to have a social media following, because you don't. Remember, vote up the questions that are important, because Daniel and I will be going through them separately. What are the strategies to find other people's stages? Nelvin, I won't get into the next 2 weeks of content. That's the next 2 weeks of content. We're in the scale section, so we're coaching around scale. I just would rather answer that question once you've actually went through the training. So we literally walk you step by step on how to find stages in the next 2 weeks, not just finding them, but winning them. So we will be tackling that in the next couple of weeks. Remember, this week's around scale. What do you recommend for follow-up when you get contact info if you don't want to email? I'll have Daniel answer that one here in a minute. I'm going to save some of these that are, how do you create a quick win? Is it the same as a free gift? Nelvin's the leader in the clubhouse today with questions. Go Nelvin. And they're getting voted up. So it's not just about questions, it's about being voted up. How do you create a quick win? A quick win is like, what can you give them when you give them their free gift that what they consume helps move them from A to B? So maybe they feel more energy, or maybe they feel like, wow, they just saved me some money, or man, they gave me a tip on how to save on my travel, or man, they gave me something that I took that made me feel a lot better. Like, that's a quick win, everybody. That's a quick win. Any tips for sharing powerful testimonials on WhatsApp? I don't know, man. I don't use WhatsApp enough. I don't use WhatsApp enough. Why would you want to create powerful testimonials on WhatsApp? I think it's irrelevant. The platform is irrelevant. A powerful testimony is all about, like, if I got a video, it's really validation of your product or validation of your company. It's whatever you're trying to do. So you just want a powerful, I believe a powerful 60-second or less video. That's the ideal, maybe getting up to 90 seconds, but 60 seconds or less. I love a powerful video that validates your product or validates your company. Now, you got to make sure you're in compliance with your companies, because I don't know what all of them say, but it doesn't matter. WhatsApp, Voxer, email, text message, the platform's irrelevant. The power of the testimony really matters. That's what matters the most. How do I know if I'm ready to be on other people's stages? Should I focus on my own stages first? Tammy, I would tell you that you want to go low practice and practice with low stakes. And so starting with your own stage is great, or starting with smaller stages is great. How do you know that you're ready? You know that you're ready when you're convicted about a problem that you can solve for other people. Not about being a perfect talk. You might be like, my talk's perfect. No. If you have a deep enough conviction about a product that you can solve for other people, then you know you are ready. And listen, I like starting with your own stage. I've challenged you all the last couple of weeks to go start your own stage. I've challenged you to all to go start your own stage. How do I win stages if I'm not a known person? We've already tackled this. You guys we tackled it already. And so, Melanie, I just answered that for Nelvin. Nelvin had a question just like that. Nelvin's the leader once again. Tom's coming up here. I've created a positive mindset community. How can I persuade others to join my community where there are tons of motivational speakers out there who are better and more experienced than me? Nelvin, but they don't get the attention that Nelvin's going to give to them. You don't see a lot of big speakers that do consistent lives or do consistent things. You have the opportunity, like Nelvin, you're getting too consumed in this idea of, I'm not a big name, I can't be on other speakers. I'm not a big name, why would they want to be in my Facebook group? Like, get rid of the big name syndrome. Get rid of the big name syndrome. And remember that you're the best kept secret. And if you're the best kept secret, you have an edge to you to say, I'm going to over deliver in my community where other people don't over deliver in my community. And when that's the case, you don't have to convince. It's just evident. And people share your group. People share your group. So Melvin, you gotta don't buy into this like big name mentality. I've seen it a couple of times. Yeah, so Pam, people are joining me and not following the call to action. I'll let Daniel tackle that one. What is the appropriate length of time for a Facebook Live interview? You know, I like 20 to 30 minutes. Tom, I like 20 to 30 minutes. That's my cup of tea. I like 20 to 30 minutes. This past few weeks, I'm finding it very difficult to focus. What tips do you have to stay focused? Man, you've got to decide what your big three are for the day. When you're not a focus, that means you're asleep or you're getting sucked into the black hole. Like spiritual or mental, it doesn't matter what you want to call it. I think it's a spiritual thing. To me, it's a spiritual thing because when we get sucked into the black hole or we're asleep, we don't do the most important things that we should in our day. And so I'm very clear on what my big three tasks are for the day. I can tell you my big three tasks for the day. I hit them all week long. All week long. I am going to get our Rise Up World Monday plan and speakers confirmed to the team. I'm going to do my accelerator call and the network marketing edition call today, as well as get the team more times for next week. and I'm going to have our family night, church, dinner, fun tonight. I do those 2 big 3. I've got 2 out of the 3 done. Those big 3, I do enough over the course of 5 days. That's 15 wins. Okay, maybe I missed 3. Cool, 12 and 3. Who wouldn't take a 12 and 3 record? Like in any professional sport, you'd love to be 12 and 3. Now, I'm not advocating for you to be 12 and 3, but you focus on that. And then everything under the line, it's gravy if I get it done, but my big 3 matters the most. My big 3 matters the most. Ready to be on other people, should I focus on my own stage? I already answered Tammy's question, didn't I? If I'm ready to be on other people, should I focus on my own? Oh, I answered that one. Didn't I, D? Somebody, what happened to the...
It's a similar question. It's a different spin on the same question.
How do I know if I'm ready to be on other people's stages? I did answer it. I'm pretty sure I did, because I said you're convicted and know that you got a problem to solve for their community. You got a problem to solve for their community. So you're solving a problem on your own stage. It's no different than solving, oh, Tammy's saying I did. Okay, good. Okay, thanks, Tammy. I thought I did. I was like, man, I just didn't mark it off. How much money will it cost to join other? Nelvin, we'll talk about that in the next 2 weeks. There's a thing called the sponsored stage. You can sponsor a stage. I don't want to get into that today because that's a whole nother teaching. That's a whole nother teaching. We tackled Mario's. By the way, you know where you lose most of your time? You become a social media consumer. Like if you're consuming social media, you're putting yourself in a lot of trouble. What are the minimum number of followers or members? Just go live and go live. Like if you don't have a lot, go live. If you have more on your personal page, go live. But the key is making sure that you have a nice hook for a title so people actually want to watch it. And then get to the point and provide some amazing value to them, guys. Provide some amazing value. Hey, keep the questions coming. Dee's about to tap in for me. Let Dr. I'm gonna let him. D, I'm going to have you tag in, man. I've already answered 12, my friend, and a lot of these are about scaling, and Daniel is our specialist. So Daniel, kind of like we're in a, tag. You want to tag me right here? Just reach over to your tag. Daniel's tagged in. He is our scale specialist. I'll be back. I'm back the next 2 weeks because my genius is stages. I'll see if I can get Pat Quinn in here maybe a little bit in the next 2 weeks. But the next 2 weeks, it's all about identifying your dream stages, how you need to be attractive to them, how do you find them, how do you win them. These next 2 weeks brings the entire system full circle. And so, Daniel, I'm going to let you tag in here, man, and take it away, my friend.
Okay. There was one, I can't see it now, but Tammy, you asked about if you don't want to be following up using email, what are some other ways that you can scale after you've given your free gifts? So a couple of thoughts there for you. I don't know why I can't see that one anymore, but I wrote down a note here. So you can do direct mail. So if you're collecting your addresses and phone numbers and names and emails, you don't have to email them. You could actually send them out a piece of direct mail. Phone call, man, like when was the last time you got a gift of something of value and somebody picked up the phone and said, hey, would love to help you a little bit more on that. So phone is a powerful tool. The next would be like, I know you said you didn't not email, but video email. We use something called bomb.com. It's bomb.com/reach. We get like penny on that, but it tells you how we use it. Pete has a video on there. And bomb.com, it is the bomb. We send out thousands of video emails that are really just like, it is one of the most powerful tools that we use. We actually, my team, we have these whiteboards, these little tiny whiteboards. And we actually write down, hi, name of person, and we just like hold it in front of us because it generates this little GIF image in the email. And it's like, wait a minute, that's my name in the video. It's not just a generic video, it's a video to me. So a custom video to somebody that engages them can be far better in engagement to scale a stage than just a generic video. But video in and of itself, even just a generic video, will do wonders. We'll do texting as well as another way to scale a stage. Texting, if you have a bunch of folks coming in, there are so many texting mass text tools out there, and you could text to a BombBomb video or a Vimeo video. You could text to a video, say, hey, just recorded something quick for you, and you could text that out. We do this often when we're at a stage and we have a booth and we lead collect in a room. We'll actually get people to come to our booth because we've texted everybody and said, hey, we got a free gift at our booth, or we'll do a strategy session and talk a little bit about how we can help them. So we can definitely you can definitely be scaling stages in different ways, and depending on what it is that you're doing, to see if it's a good fit for them. Oftentimes when we're on once physical stages come back, because folks, they will come back, we have a methodology where, and I want to just find a quick video, a quick image for you guys as I'm going here. We have a methodology where we actually do on-site sessions, and these sessions, images, big board. Here we go. So what we do is we'll put into the why is that not coming up? We'll put into the talk, hey guys, well, we have some 15-minute sessions and we'll help map out something in our methodology, or we'll help you understand if this is a good opportunity for you. And people will actually book. For us, we'll actually map out your signature talk in a signature talk design session. And for whatever reason, this is not coming up. Oh, just a second. This will be worth it, I promise. Oh, I can't share my screen. So basically, imagine a big whiteboard with times and sticky notes on the whiteboard. And on these sticky notes, we'll have on the top sticky, we'll have the time and day of the week, and the bottom sticky would have name, phone number, and time and date. And basically, the back of the room, we have this big whiteboard that people go to, and they can pick off a sticky of when they want a time slot, and they can write in their name and their phone number, and then we'll text them their appointments. And at our table, we'll just be taking appointments, and enrolling people. And it works like magic, especially for those kind of opportunities where people just don't know if it's for them. You can have these one-on-one sessions that just put people over the edge. So sorry, I can't share my screen right now. Actually, I'm on a new computer and I hadn't set that up on Zoom, and I don't want to get out and come back in again. So long-winded answer on other ways to scale that is not tied to email specifically. So lots and lots of opportunities there. Pam, people are joining my group but not following to calls of actions. Tips for getting action happen. So typically in groups, you want to be doing gives, and then a strategic call to action. So if all your call to actions is come join, it's not going to work. You need to have engagements where it's like value. Maybe hop on a call. Value. Maybe buy something. Value. And so there's a cadence of what you're doing. You can mix it up, but definitely not looking to consistently be calling to action to sign up or come on board. It needs to be some gives in there of content that is valuable based on your lens in order for people to want to feel like they want to stay and that they're gaining value from it. Definitely want to test a few things of value offers and seeing what resonates and taking it off just the group. So if the group is, let's say it's on Facebook, which a lot of groups are, you want to have maybe a call to action that takes them to a page where they opt in for something of value. So now you've actually captured their email away from so like if algorithms change or Facebook decides to whatever, you have their information now also in a lead captured way, and you deliver some value. And then you get them to be trained to go to a page, get the value, and then your call to action is like, go to a page and book a call, or go to a page and see this sign up opportunity, or what have you. So I would get them in a habit of taking some actions that get them a result, and then they get into this feedback loop where you can inject an opportunity into that loop strategically over time. So that's definitely how I would look at that, Pam. Hopefully that's helpful. Let me just say it. Done. Okay, Marina, how can I deal or prevent to get fake answers at my call to actions in Insta and Facebook stories? Spammy fake answers. That's a good one. I think the more times that you are giving value just for value and get more of that happening, then the people that are just spamming in will go down. But there is an unfortunate thing of automated people who are just blanketing things, and these bots tend to screw numbers up a lot of the time with those opportunities. So the better time, I think, would be to do things like lives within the group to get engagement versus just relying on Instagram and Facebook stories, because of the automated nature of how other things can kind of interject. Where when it's in a live, the comment streams are just the people that are either watched it live or watch it on a replay, if that makes sense. So that would be something that I would maybe test and see what kind of responses, and also like see about changing some of your call to actions as well. Okay. Stephanie, are quick wins always free? No, they're not always free. Sometimes, depending on the audience, it makes sense to do a low cost opportunity, like a $7 or $27 opt-in or product, mini product of some kind that gets them a win. So if I had a health product, for example, you could do a quick detox for the week, or you could do a $27 meal plan for the week that includes some product in there, or the substitute for the product that's inferior to the product itself, but gets them a result in the week, or a smoothie challenge, or some kind of challenge around push-ups for the week, or different out their interval training or something. But you could have something that's paid. So I know a health coach, for example, which is, a different it's a bit different, but but definitely could be leveraged here. They do like a mini cookbook for the week, and you buy it. You buy the cookbook, and you go and lose some weight, for example. So that's something you could interject. So definitely different ways to do wins where it's a paid, and it could also be a paid mini challenge. So like a 5-day challenge that's $19 to come into. People, when they spend a little bit of money, will take it more seriously and actually put in more work into it, because even if it's a micro ask. If you have questions, please put them into the Q&A. I'm not going to be living in the chat, just so I can keep things, and then vote them up, guys. Okay, Karen, did you say that it's best to go live where you have the biggest audience, Facebook versus personal profile? I have the greatest audience in my personal profile, but I fear that if they do not want to listen to my message. I would test both. I definitely feel where you could and see which ones resonate with the call to action. The other thing is, you could be asking your people in your personal page to get over to the other group and have stuff that you only do there that's exclusive. The other thing is, you can do it once and then re-leverage it and repost it into the other group. So you could do that. The easiest way would be is to do a repost, like a forward post over with a permalink. The other thing would be to do is you could just do a native repost, so like download the video and repost it in the group and just see which one performs better from your personal versus your business page. And then, but yeah, I would just test the two and see which one goes best. So. All right, Phil, this is Phil. In scaling, Pat used the phrase, I believe. What are some other one-liners that would draw people to stay engaged with you? So I believe statements are phenomenal. When implemented correctly is a great one. Depending on what it is that your lens is, let's say it's a health product of some kind. When you're leveraging when leveraged correctly, these products, which is a great phrasing that works really, really well to really up level the status, because anybody could go and take some knowledge and go implement it, but they need you to help implement it correctly, or they need the right kind of product to have the results that they get. So when implemented correctly is a great one. Okay. Dr. Sally, would you recommend or support that we here in S2S get on other member stages in this group if we can provide value content not related to our own product or business opportunity to get some traction? Dr. Sally, it's a good question. It depends on if it's, as long as it's not taking away from what other people, like as long as it's additive and not taking away, and definitely I would think you'd be looking for traction in the product, not necessarily the biz opportunity. Because the biz opportunity is something that the other people within this group can easily position. It's the product itself where I think you could probably get more. That's my first thought would be that the product would be the focus, and the biz op would be left to the individual, like the individual that's on there. That would be my thinking. And yeah, definitely is not related. It's something you could look at. You could test. For sure. My product is travel. We actually, so that's just Melanie. My product is travel. We actually technology. So it's a free gift is easy, but I could talk on home business or personal development. So free gift is easy. I'm just trying to understand what your question is here. But I could talk on home business or personal development. Your talk needs to have some synchronicity to the product and the opportunity. And so if it's the personal development that you leverage travel in your personal development plan, maybe. If it's on business and you get to a level in business where you can enjoy travel, that's an option. Or is it travel as the reward to yourself for doing a good job, something along those lines? But if you're just talking about personal development and home businesses, that might be okay for the biz opportunity, potentially. But I think the category of travel needs to be embedded in what you talk about. There has to be some synchronicity between the talk, the product, and then the opportunity obviously can transcend, but the opportunity, there has to be this through line between the three. And so you just need to find that through line that has things in sync between all three, because confused minds never buy. So if you're talking about personal development and then you bring in travel, it's like, what? It's like a disconnect. You want to have it in sync. So I would look to find that through line. All right, Shelly, what are thoughts on best times to go live? Noon is the best hour for me, but I don't know if others. Consistency, Shelly. That's what it's all about, consistently. We do a Rise Up Challenge. We have over 100,000 people in our group. We go live every Monday at the same time, every week, without fail. And it primes and pumps people to be in that on there, dedicating the time. And so that's my biggest thought, consistently. Pick when you're going to do it, consistently do that on that and have that as a social contract with yourself. Maria, how do you, Pete, know if you're being consumed as a social media consumer? How do you know if you're being consumed as a social? You mean as somebody who puts out social media? How do I know that we're being consumed? This is how I'm thinking of this. So I would think a bunch of metrics, and the most important one is conversion, as far as I'm concerned. But the metrics are your followers growing on the channels you're putting it out on? Are people taking the calls to action and consuming whatever you're sending them to? And ultimately, is more product coming out, and are more people signing up to work with you for the business opportunity? Like, that's the measure of the mark, you know. And if you are, those are the KPIs, like the key performance indicators that I would be tracking in order to see if what I'm doing is having a result. I hope that answers that question. No, it was related to what Pete said earlier. I'm trying to remember what Pete said earlier around this. Can you, I'll leave this up in a second, if you could just be more clarity so I can be precise with my answer, I'd appreciate it. Let me just go back. I'll go back up one here. And I'm an introvert. I don't want to mispronounce the name, but is it Pregessen? I apologize. I'm an introvert, so what's the best way to start scaling stages? So I find a lot of introverts work okay one-to-one, and they find it more difficult to do one-to-many. So while a stage itself is going to be nerve-wracking for you a little bit, but not so much once you have a really good talk. And that's what, you know, once you have that and you've practiced it, we find that a lot of people quell their fears, and they're, as an introvert, they can kind of get out of their shell because they're talking about something that they know really well and they've practiced. So scaling those stages might be for you one-on-one outreach. You might have them fill something out, they get something they get something delivered to them, but you're capturing numbers and you're phoning people up and talking to them because that's where you're feeling more comfortable. If that feels scary to you, then it's more of the automated way. And so starting with making your talk more position your product versus the opportunity, and then allowing emails to help you get people to consume the product, and then have emails then position the opportunity. So that email might be the one you want to move forward. It could also be a pre-recorded video so that you are delivering some recorded stuff where it doesn't feel as tasking. So introverts, you know, I heard Simon Sinek say, introverts wake up in the morning and they have 0 coins in a purse. Extroverts, they woke up in the morning with a purse with 0 coins in it, and every single time they have a human interaction, they gain a coin. And some people have a bigger purse, and some people have a smaller purse. Introverts, they wake up with maybe 5 coins in their purse, and every human interaction, they expend a coin, and at the end of the day, they're like done, they're finished. So you may have 5, you may have 10 coins. It depends on your level for ability to come out of your shell. Like, what's your tolerance for that? And I would just figure out what that means for you. And that means it needs to be all digital and emails, or does it need, or are you out of your shell enough that you can do some videos and have that as be part of the interaction, but it's automated so you're not having to be on? Or does it feel better one-on-one, so you're calling versus, versus you're calling? Like, does that feel better to you? So you just got to figure out, when you wake up in the morning, how many coins do you have to expend, and how you're going to best expend it. It's part of like the thinking of around how Pete does in the company and teaches the big 3. Those are big 3 things, but for other people, it can be that there's a 3, but now there's like 3 or 4 other smaller things that need to get done that day too. And yeah, I'm going to get my big 3, and I'm going to get this other list done because that's I'm capable of so much more. And so Yeah. My last name's Moskowitz. Yeah. And yeah, so like hopefully that helps answer that. So. Okay, he said people waste too much time being consumers on social media. Oh yeah, yeah. So, um, are you just consuming the content of other people and not taking any action? Taking action on what you learn. So there's people that are just like, oh yeah, my mentor is this person, this person, this person, this person, this person. Did you have a business? No, but I feel really good about myself. It's like, awesome, you're a consumer. You know, if you're looking to grow a profession like you guys have and take it seriously, then it's time to stop consuming and it's time to just take action. So there's really a difference between being a consumer and taking action. And that's what he meant. That's what he meant by that. And you guys are all in the action taking bucket because you're here. Okay, Renee, I have several pages, a group and a personal profile. Which pages to focus on, or should I focus on the group? I would focus most of your attention on the group. I would leverage the other pages to generate people into the group. Group is where you have somebody that said, I love you and your topic. I want more. So they've raised their hand for that. That's who you should get most of your attention. The other people should get some attention, but not the same kind of attention, the same amount of love. So I would definitely focus there. Can we talk about our product and our opportunity in our Facebook group? I think it's prime, but done in a way that is of service. So if you're giving out a value talk, definitely the product's going to be part of that talk. The opportunity may not be in the talk itself; it's in the people who want part of the dream that you are living, or the dream that the financial freedom that comes with the taking on the opportunity. So I would, now that I would definitely look to talk about it, but not all the time, and in context, and creating like a small challenge for your product that leverages the product in the challenge is a great way to do it. But doing that consistently will burn out that group. So you need to be giving out, and then an ask. It can't just be about either one. And definitely at sometimes you may want to go do a live and say, hey, today I'm going to talk about how you can set up a home-based business. And some of you, that's interesting to you. Otherwise, you want to talk about something else. That's cool too. Be there for that. So I would definitely do that, but I would definitely be cycling that kind of stuff for sure. You guys are great at voting things up, so thank you for that. Tootie, what is the best tool to use for us if we have right now all we have right now is our company website? Should we create our own from GoDaddy, for example? Yeah, I mean, you as a speaker and you as a value person could certainly have a page, a simple page that you do. But I'll tell you this, we have people making 6 figures with just a Facebook page in terms of like what comes out of a talk. You don't need to have those things in order to land a stage and give out value. They're nice to have. They're not must. So if creating a page on a website feels to be like overwhelming for you, don't do it now. You don't need it. You just need to have like a Facebook page that represents that persona of you as an expert, as a speaker. Is it a nice to have? Sure. Yeah. I mean, if you want to put together a page of like a couple of the topics that you speak on, or the topic you speak on, and put that together, and that's in your wheelhouse, and it's something you can pull together, doesn't feel stressful, go for it. Otherwise, don't let that get behind you. It is not the end all and be all. What's great about the pros would be to have the ability to do opt-ins easier, creating your own opt-ins, like your own free gifts. but it's definitely not something that I would spend time on if it's not something that comes like easy for you, like you did it in college or something. Best tool to capture people's emails and phone numbers. You can use MailChimp. You can use ActiveCampaign. You could use Constant Contact, MailChimp. These are all ones that are pretty easy to use. I mean, MailChimp and Constant Contact are the easiest ones, absolutely easiest ones to leverage. Lorena, to the point, I sell skincare and makeup products as well as offer the opportunity. When you say value, does it mean about what our products do for them, or value can be a other topic that does not have to do with what I'm doing? Will different topic confuse our members? So, I'm going to share this with the group in confidence, okay? I probably have a more expensive face regime than my wife does. So we do Beauty Counter. That's our company of choice, and we've gone through a few of them to find the organization that we wanted to work. Like we felt that we had the best results for us. And so I might not be your average person, but for example, if you created a guide on how your spouse, so let's say you're speaking to mostly women, how you could have your spouse have the best face, like have their skin be the best skin that they've ever had and impress in the next meeting they're in. That could be something valuable that you can give out. Like I use a different product from here up on my nose. I have a bald head. I shave my head, so I use a different product up here. I use a different product on the beard. I have a different I have my lather stuff I use to when I shave my head. I have so I have a bunch of stuff I leverage, and it results this beautiful face you see here today. Not that I didn't shave today, so I apologize. But that could be one thing. It could be like complex skin. How do you deal with complex skin? You know, or don't know how to cover up. Got a big meeting coming up. Got a blemish. Like here's a quick win on that. You know, people that are active. You sweat a lot. You want to be able to stay control. Like whatever. Like you could come up with some valuable topics around skin. How do you match the right foundation, you know, for your skin type? You know, are you doing it wrong? Are you doing it right? The 3 things to avoid when picking lip color or something like that. So that's the first 2 minutes about who you are. I don't know what types of questions to ask you. Melissa, sorry, I'm not spending a lot of time here in the chat. I am taking over for Pete. I am the head strategy coach here at Advance Your Reach, and Pete asked me to step in on scale because this is what I do for the organization. So certainly ask me any questions around scale. Thank you, Melanie. I appreciate that. So I hope that helps. I would come up with different topics that are a spin on it, and then from there I would definitely look to link it to the product, and then once they're in your product channel, I would then offer the opportunity. Like once they've benefited from the product, that's a great time to position an opportunity because then they feel the opportunity. So awesome! I appreciate that. That's great. All right, Melanie, what do you suggest from an automation process once we give the gift and have their mail? All right, so once they've gotten so here's a great conversion architecture. Okay, great conversion architecture. You're on a podcast or you're on a stage. You're giving out a gift. All right, so what you want to do is be able to, this is where having a URL would be great. So you have your URL /name of podcast or name of live that you were on or what have you. That's the page you're going to send them to. And on that page, you'd have a video. The video should say something along those lines like this. Like, hey, thanks so much for clicking on the link here or come to this page. You're on here because you saw me on, or I was on the XYZ podcast. Wasn't the host amazing or funny or inquisitive or whatever? You came here because you were interested in my 10 tips to stay not oily on my skin or something like that. And listen, when you go through it, you pay close attention to this, this, and this. That's the benefit you're going to get. Now, some of you were already hitting me up on social media asking me about the products that I was talking about, and you can actually get access to those really quick, really simply. I actually put a link below, and you can click on that and get access to that. But if you just want the guide, there's a link there below for the guide, and you can go ahead and click on that, and we'll get that off to you, no problem. But some of you were already interested in those products I mentioned, and you can get those below. Rewind. Let's say you were on a podcast, you talked about the business opportunity, because that was appropriate. For those of you that were interested in the biz op, some of you have already been hitting me up. I wanted to make it simple and easy. You can book a time with me below. There's a couple questions I ask in there. So go ahead and click on the link and you can book a time with me to have a conversation. So that's a conversion architecture if you were pushing product, or a conversion architecture if you were pushing conversations for the business opportunity. Hopefully that helps. The other thing is if you're in a physical stage and you had a printout of it, you could do a card in the audience, and they come see you at a table where you give them the gift and maybe have product you sell, and strike up conversations to see if somebody might be a good opportunity to from the business opportunity side as well. So there's different ways to deke in around scale. Hopefully that helped you out. Tammy, my team already has a Facebook group for lives. Add a value section not related to the product of biz. Should I still make my own Facebook group or continue to add value, add people into our team's Facebook group? If you're going to create your own downstream, yeah. I mean, if they're going to come under you specifically, then definitely I would start to branch off and have your own following. If that's not your calling, then I would definitely continue to put value there. But you need to decide for yourself based on how things are structured if that's going to be advantageous for you or not, like based on how things are organized within stuff. So within your company. So I would decide which is going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. Okay. Martina, would you recommend to do our 3-minute signature talk? Instagram, spread the I would try it on both. I'm not too familiar with IGTV as yeah, the 3-minute talk doesn't give as much value. You're right on that. It doesn't give as much value, but it does get to the point really quickly. So I would recommend testing it and seeing the results on it, but definitely the longer version talk is where you want, maybe as a teaser to get people to come to a longer live, like a longer Facebook Live, for example. That's how I would leverage it. Phil here, people need to be attracted to your vision for them. What are different ways to imply that your vision will solve their problem without saying my vision is for yours is? I think you need to oftentimes have people go through an exercise of what the vision for their lives is and what their problem is. So versus you pumping a vision for them. So not everybody wants to go drive cars. Maybe they want a nice house. Other people, for them, it might be they just want to be able to pay for their kids' education. So what their vision and what problem with your business opportunity is solving for them is going to be different, and taking them through an exercise where they see that for themselves. Think about what the most important thing for you is right now. What is the most important thing for your family? What's the most important thing for your family in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years from now? Where do you see your retirement? So throwing some things that are big ideas, what kind of impact you want to make, you can come up with a few things, allows people to paint a vision for themselves, and then you can link the idea of the additional revenues as helping them accomplish those things. Judy, Daniel, could you use an example of a great through line signature talk product opportunity so we understand how to structure that? So I'll give you one. Yeah, so health. Let's do like a doTERRA, for example. Like I'll just picking something for random because I have a bottle in front of me just because I do. All right, so the signature talk might be the 3 steps to reclaiming your health in the next 90 days. Just creating something out of the thin air here. Step 1 is movement. Step 2 is diet. And step 3 is leveraging the right products and essential oils to enhance the first 2 things that you're spending so much time on. Then the product becomes a 3rd staple in that talk. And then from that, you want people buying the product. Of the people who are buying the product, they may also want to represent the product and generate more revenue for their families. And so that to me would be a great through line on how that might be structured. Hopefully that's helpful. Renee, is it better to have your own group or post other people's with large audiences? I would do both, but definitely other people's with large audiences, other people's stages are going to be the fastest way that you grow your own audience. Carrie Ann, how do you convert likes from content you share on your personal Facebook group to connecting with those individually privately? Convert likes from the content you share. Oh, so if they like your content, then you could hit them up, you could DM them directly, those people, or like attempt to, and engage with them privately. So private DM, private messaging. Pam, when you're doing your Facebook Live, do you introduce yourself and what you do for a living at the start of each talk, or do you believe they already know? Yeah, and I would introduce yourself to the people, because you may have new. For those of you that are new, this is what I do, and even somebody that's in doTERRA, for example, I'll just keep that example going. Top of mind. I would say that you're in health and wellness. That's the category you're in. You do health and wellness, and you just happen to have a product that is a staple of health and wellness. That's how I would look at it. So I would not say that I wouldn't be as, so if you're in energy, if you're in like whatever that category is, I would definitely be talking about it in that way. But definitely reminding people on that would be important. Pam, when you're doing your Facebook Live, do you introduce your, oops, I think I just answered darn it. I apologize. I think I just answered one live by mistake. And I apologize. So if you could repost whatever that was, I apologize. I did not, I got voted up and I hit the answer on that. has done all that for you. You don't have to worry about researching all that. That's all done. And you have a consistent, high quality, high grade, and you can implement these correctly when you buy it. You can know that this is going to be, and the recipes and everything that we do. So, for example, you're not going to